Welcome. So glad you guys are here. I'm excited for our connection today and just encourage everybody to get settled as we allow people to begin to come in for this time of soul recovery and meditation and connection. Just so grateful for this amazing community and our opportunity to come together in spirit and connect. So if you're coming in new, just go ahead and write in the chat where you're joining us from so that we can witness each other and be present with each other. Just such gratitude for this opportunity to come into this space. I was looking at Facebook and Instagram and all the people who are really connecting in other ways, and I knew that we needed to come together in meditation and in love and connection. So that's why we are here today. And we're still got a couple minutes until we actually are in our official. Robin from the Dominican Republic, wonderful. Nice to have you here. So excited to have people from all over before we kind of go official. Next time I do this, I'll have learned more about how to get music in and all the things. But today, there's Rachel from Massachusetts. I'm so glad that you're here. Yay, another Rachel. It's a good name, isn't it? It's a beautiful name. And then at some point, I'll learn how to do better technology. But today, we're just going to meditate and be with each other, which is beautiful and wonderful to connect. And if you haven't ever had coaching with me, this is my little sanctuary out in my backyard, which is kind of fun. It's where I do art and where I've been doing coaching and the podcast. So if you ever listen to the podcast, this is where you see me. Janice from North Carolina, fabulous, wonderful, welcome. So glad people are coming in. We're right at the time when it's going to start. So we'll just do a little connecting before I move into meditation to give people time to join us. And if you're watching this after it's over, this is the power of spirituality, is that time is elusive. Time is a interesting thing. So it's really okay if you're watching this later to really allow yourself to connect into this space and to know that whether it's now or in another time, it is just the right time to really connect with the inner sanctuary of your heart. So I'm just so grateful to have us all together today. And if you want to put in your chat, if we want to also utilize the chat, if there's something that you want to, something maybe how you're feeling or just a way to connect, like, what's going on with you? Do you have one word that you're doing? Are you doing okay? Are you not doing okay? All of it is open and welcome. We don't have to be in any particular way to be okay. So we can go ahead and connect that way too. Wonderful. I just got guidance to pull an oracle card for our meditation today. I actually did some this morning in my tarot card reading for the chat, but for the meditation, but I wanted to see while we're sort of waiting for people to come on. And if you're just coming on, I'd love for you to go ahead and share where you are from and joining us from. Okay. So let's see. We are holding our country and we're holding our families and we're holding the world at large in this space during this very specific, particular time that feels very tumultuous and feels really heavy, but really is actually a time of transition and awakening of our consciousness. So let's just pull a single card to start and see. This is for our collective. Let's see what we have. So we have the drifter, which is experiencing life as it comes, which I think is really interesting because that kind of goes right along with what I'm feeling. Experience life as it comes, seeking the essence but not knowing the form. The drifter invites you to step out of your to-do list and ordinary routine and feel the breeze against your skin, calling you to follow the wind and explore life's opportunities. When the drifter appears, it's a sign that it's time to cut the mooring lines holding you to the dock. It's not important to know the destination before you set sail. It would become clear as you leave the port. Do not wait for a map. There is none to where you are destined to go, but be sure that you have a compass to keep you true. Yours is pure love and your intention to be free, even if your known beliefs, even of your known beliefs and perceptions. So I love this because this actually goes right along with what we're going to be meditating on today, to let go of our perceptions and to really just take things as it comes and have this level of trust and knowing. So the reason why I got this call for us to connect today was because clearly it's June 14th. There is, in this moment right now when we're live, there's a parade, a military parade, and I am not going to bring any politics into it because I've worked really hard over the last years to not get myself caught up in either side. But as a spiritual teacher and as a spiritual coach and as somebody who's on my own awakening journey, what I recognize is that there is a desire to get caught up in the pull of it. And of course, this is what's happening. And if you've ever listened to this Recover Your Soul podcast, you know that there's lifey is very lifey in my life, continues to be very lifey. So it's not that it isn't lifey. But what we're working on is we're working on how to stay in our environment within ourselves and to look a level up from the bigger picture of what's happening in life. And that isn't always easy, and it is this tumultuous turn of events that happens not only in our own personal lives, but in the spectrum of how things go in our greater consciousness and in the world around us. And so, regardless of anyone's political orientation, it doesn't matter because we're all connected. We're all connected, and we actually want the same, which is love and peace and safety, ultimately. And so, when you look at what's going on and you take judgment out of it, which is a huge piece of soul recovery, and you come into your heart and you have consciousness of the need to be forgiving and compassionate to everybody involved, regardless of what's going on. I believe so strongly that our raised consciousness, our ability to come into um, a more true center of ourselves, lets all that noise go. There's just so much noise, and come back into the place where we are seeing and speaking and attuning through the eyes of love. And so, what I'm holding is not to have any particular outcome, which is why I think this is really interesting because we can get really attached to the outcome. It's to experience life as it comes and to allow ourselves to be drifters, to actually let go of those perceptions and those beliefs and those stories that we think are how it's supposed to go. And I don't know if anybody else has had this situation like I've had. If I had looked at my life 7 years ago when I got sober from drinking and our lives were so crazy, I would have never thought that I was here today. And I know many of you relate to this, that you've been in very difficult and trying times in your life, and maybe you're in one right now. And when you recognize that that is part of your soul's journey, soul recovery, recover your soul, this is our ability to really step outside of just our human form, but move into something even bigger, more awareness of hmm, really our quantum selves. Our soul is our essence connected to something greater still, and recognize that those trials, those challenges for ourselves are how we expand and grow. And that might also be how things on a larger scale expand and grow. So I have been getting more and more comfortable with connecting to my intuition, and I hope that I'm helping you all to connect to your intuition more and more too, and to begin to step out of this belief that we have to fix everything and everyone. That is the heart of Recover Your Soul, is learning how to let go of codependence and this belief that we have to take care of everybody else all the time. And we take on the burden and the overwhelm of that. Well, what's happening in our country and the world right now is double fold, that there's so much to take on, and we just can't, nor should we. And so this idea that I wanted to have us come together is to really be able to just sit in the inner sanctuary of our heart and to connect to the true essence and the true nature of who we are, and to remember our wholeness and remember the wholeness of everything and everyone, even when it doesn't feel that way in that particular moment. Because our awakening, our higher consciousness, our staying in a more attuned and aligned and fuller state up in our upper chakras, our crown chakras, it makes more change. The things that I've been listening to and reading, not only new stuff that I've been listening to, other channels besides myself and other people, but even going back and reading some of the spiritual texts that are 10, 15, 20, 50 years old, all the way back to, the Bible and all those things that are thousands of years old. It's the reminder that your connection to spirit is the number one place where you can heal, where not only you heal yourself, but you can elicit healing for others. That we want to put all this energy on others, but I want you to come in and heal yourself, to connect with yourself. So I wanted to lead us in a guided meditation. And I was going to do some silent meditation, which we might have some longer silences. I'm sorry I don't have music to fill in the space, but I'm going to lead us into a guided meditation. And what I invite you to do, and I'll talk along the way, I'm going to open up my channels and see what Ananda and my council has to share with us, which is new and interesting to actually out loud start to talk about how this guidance that I receive does feel connected, and to be able to say it out loud, because it kind of seems kind of strange to say it out loud, but it is the essence of who I feel like is going on within me. So what I invite you to do is I invite you to settle into your body, find a comfortable place to sit or lay down, and just start by stilling your mind. Maybe noticing if you have any place that feels tense or tight, and just breathing into that before we start. Before we start, I want you to actually, just in this stillness with your eyes closed, I want you to notice the texture of the energy around you. Just gently and quietly notice. And be present with exactly what is around you. This is not about us trying to reach or strive for something that isn't the truth of who we are. This is actually about us connecting more deeply to that connection to something greater still, and our higher selves. And just notice the energy. Just witness it. We're not trying to fix it or change it. We're just recognizing it. Notice how that feels in your body. How does it respond and react to your body? Do you feel comfortable with it? Does it feel like something that you want to attract to yourself, or is it something that you want to push away? And then I invite you to just spend the moment with this energy and recognize if it's energy that does not feel comfortable for you, that you can send it away to be transmuted back into Mother Earth so that you are surrounding yourself with a more pure, open energy. I'm going to start by taking some deep breaths, just at whatever pattern works well for you. I like to breathe really deeply into my belly with an out breath of my mouth. Grounding and centering into this moment. Those deep belly breaths. Allowing your out breath to be longer, slower than your in breath. Grounding and centering into this present moment right here, right now. Feeling your body, allowing yourself to come into this present moment. So often when we try to turn into the inner sanctuary of our heart, we're busy minded, busy bodied. So you can start by using your 5 senses to bring you into this present moment here. Noticing any sounds that you may hear, no matter how small they are, how quiet. Maybe any smells that you might smell, tastes. Move to your body. Notice how your body feels. Held in your seat or laying down. Even noticing your clothes touching your skin. The texture and the temperature of the air. Coming back to your breath. And as your mind begins to wander, which it will, we always come back to the breath. Our mind is just doing what the mind does, thinking. But as we offer ourselves this practice more often, there's more space in between those thoughts. There's more ability to stay present in this moment here and now. Divine Spirit, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to turn into the inner sanctuary of our heart. It's a place where we connect not only to the stillness that is within, but the place where we connect to our higher self, where we connect to something even greater still. It's a place where we open to compassion and grace and peace and love. It's also a place where there's an opening for us to see from a new perception, to recognize that there are so many complex and complicated situations happening within our lives and around us. And then in this inner sanctuary, we can indeed step away, tune in. And in your next breath, I invite you to move your breath into your heart space. envisioning as if it's a white, pure light that comes in with your breath and moves into your heart space, opening your heart. Feeling the healing, restoring energy that comes in this place. Notice anything that might feel tight or blocked, and just allow it to be cleansed and cleared with this breath, with this light. See if you can expand this space with your breath. Visualizing this white, beautiful, clear light expanding your heart. Our heart is where we connect to that innate wisdom that is our soul's presence and our spirit dancing and mixing together. It's safe here. It's kind here. It's open here. And if anything begins to come where it feels like there wants to be some restriction or some protection, just breathe into it. Notice it. Your in-breath, this incredible white light, opening your heart space, and your out-breath, a release, a letting go. And in your next in-breath, I invite you to expand that light that's in your heart and allow it to begin to move throughout your entire body, visualizing that incredible white light, the light of consciousness, of awareness, of awakening, bursting out of your heart space and beginning to open and pour into the rest of your body, filling your body with this glorious white light. Envision it moving into every cell, every organ, every part of your body, just allowing it to rush through, opening, cleansing, clearing. And as you move down to your feet, I encourage you to envision that your feet are firmly planted on the ground, or if your body is laying down, your body is firmly in the ground. And then allow yourself to root into the firm foundation of the earth. I like to envision that I have roots going down, moving down into the soil and into the crystals, into the incredible beauty that is more than we can understand, this complex nature of energy, plants, animals, soil, stone, crystals. There's a healing and a wisdom that comes from this foundation, allowing yourself to feel this vibrancy that's coming from that incredible gift of life that is our earth. And allowing that beautiful white bright light that you've brought in through your breath to expanding in your body to now move up into your head, into what we call the crown chakra. But then above you, I encourage you to visualize and open to a portal of light a portal and a pillar of light that is above you, coming from the heavens, coming from the universe. Feel it coming and opening up this pillar of light above you and moving into your body and connecting with this light that you had already brought in through breath. This healing energy, this connection to something even greater still, the connection to the all. Allow that light to completely envelop you. I see it almost as if it's a flashlight from the universe shining above me, wide, bright, brilliant. And as you're surrounded by this incredible energy, I invite you to open your heart, to the knowing that is within you already. There's a knowing, there's a connection to your soul, there's a connection to the all that is without pain, without strife, without worry. It is the essence of who you are in this still small space, listening to your still quiet voice within. And even if it's fleeting, it is the presence and the awareness and the knowing that you have access to it, even if it's just moments at a time. Because this is your inner peace of the inner sanctuary of your heart. In soul recovery, we've learned so deeply and truly that we're powerless over everything outside of ourselves, but it does not mean that we personally are powerless over our sovereignty. It means that we are releasing and letting go what is not ours to be responsible for, to fix, to change. That's the karma, the lifetimes of, the challenges of, the world around us, of those souls. We are in union with them all at the same time. So although we may be powerless, we are not releasing it as something other or having judgment. We're moving into the recognition that as we put our focus on ourselves and our own peace and our own healing, we are actually radiating in peace and love and light out into the world. The clear, awakened mind of one offers hope and love and light to more than you can understand. Our choice to always see through the perception of love, of kindness, of compassion, shifts and changes everything around us. It starts with one voice in our own home, how we interact with ourselves first and foremost, and then with the others in our home. And as we carry this incredible opportunity to be in our fullness, we carry it out into the world. choosing not to see them as others, but to see us all as one. Releasing the need to judge and be in fear, and always choosing light and love. And sometimes the light and love comes with clear boundaries, with the awareness that we must let others and situations go. But we attune that it's always coming from this place of lightness, this incredible gift, surrounded by this pillar of light. If you can feel just for a moment that clarity of knowing that all is well. Like a hurricane, there is always the eye of the storm. We are moving to this knowing that we can indeed choose to be in the eye of that storm that is often swirling around us in our personal lives and in the world. And if we get caught off guard, if we get whipped into the ravages of the wind, of the rain, to remember that this too shall pass. And to step into that spiritual space, into the inner sanctuary of your heart that does provide you with protection and guidance and grace to be able to weather those storms. And we too shall weather this storm. We are in a time of grand awakening. Your being present here now means that you are aware of this and you are open to the shifts and changes that are happening within you. You feel the energy that is happening with all of us as a society and as a people and as a world. And this change in consciousness is indeed moving in ways that we will look back on and be curious, be in wonder that we were part of it here on purpose. Releasing and letting go of the fears and the wounds and the pains that we have felt, not only from this lifetime, but from others. There's a shift that is happening now that is greater than ever before. And when you are called to stand in the light, you are aware of the value of these releases. That what is being revealed is coming to be healed. And from this sovereign state of self-healing, self-reflection for our responsibility, taking responsibility for our own well-being, we can indeed hand over what we try to hold on to so tightly with ourselves, with our family, with the world, and remember and recognize that we are handing it over to Source, to Spirit, to the universe, to something greater still, to higher power, to God, to whatever you call it. The name and the voice is unique to you because you are a unique expression of Spirit itself. And when we remember that we are not separate from, but one with Source and all that is, not only are in the eye of the storm, but the storm dissipates and releases for us. does not mean that we are letting go of what others are experiencing. It means we are seeing it from this new perception. This awareness that we do indeed choose how we will see it. And shifting from fear to love. And in this space of our awakened heart, in this space where we are surrounded by this light, we remember that we are energy. Everything around us is energy. We become mindful of maintaining this energy in our own being and the reflections in which we are sharing that out to the world. We become mindful of the energy that's coming towards us, and if we will choose it, not rejecting it, not pushing it away as if there is something to judge, but allowing ourselves to stay in that sovereignty where we don't need to take on what is not ours to carry. One of the greatest acts that we can do is to choose love in all that we are, in every way that we show up, in every action that we take, even actions that are strong, even actions that are about being out in the world. We must be out in the world. We must be part of the change. But the change does not come from anger. The change comes from connecting more deeply to the light. For in that place, we actually release and let go of the energies that are trying to keep us constricted, keep us in our fear, keep us in bondage of our old beliefs. I feel so strongly the guidance that we are all being called to step out even further in the truth of who we are and who we came here to be completely unbound and uninhibited, to be released fully and deeply from what we used to think was the way that it was. We must not force others to think or feel or believe anything other than who they are. This is not about convincing or pushing. It's about our own experience of opening, releasing, accepting, forgiving. So that as we stand and look in the eyes of anyone, ourselves in the mirror, our beloved, our children, our family, our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers, onto strangers, onto those that we will never look directly in the eyes, we can imagine and envision that we are always looking through the eyes of love and seeing the eyes of love reflected back. And it may seem hard to do. It may feel like we don't want to open ourselves up that much. But this is a time to recognize that we can stop protecting in ways that we protected in the past. And recognize we are always safe, that our souls, our personal experience is what we choose and how we choose to see it, that no one can harm us. And from this place, there is such strength, such power to connect in the light, to connect in this force that remembers that there is only love. And as we witness what happens on the earthly planes, in the dense dimensions, it is happening. It is real. It is not to be diminished, but it's to be considered in ways that open us up instead of shutting us down, where we have such compassion for everyone involved because we recognize that anything that's done out of harm is done out of pain and fear. And as we open even more deeply and fully into this space of witnessing and recognizing the wholeness in everything and everyone, we know that those energies diminish. And there's too much awakening happening, too much love being expressed, too much tenderness and compassion that isn't seen on the news or in our media, because the anger and the fear is what sells and keeps us compelled and it keeps us trapped. And in this sovereignty of state, we're releasing all those trappings. We're making decisions to stop watching, stop listening, and to choose very carefully what we bring into our field of consciousness so that we may more easily and readily walk out into the world, choosing to see and speak and act in every situation, no matter what we are doing, even when we are standing up as we should, but always through the voice and the eyes of love and compassion. Gandhi led an entire nation to freedom through choosing love. Jesus came and reminded us to step away from judgment of class, of rules, and that there was an opening for all to be healed, to be loved, to be seen, and a reminder that the kingdom of heaven is within us. Do not fear. Ask and you shall receive. The great masters and teachers have been offering us this guidance, but now we are open to hear it in ways that we never could before. To understand at the depths of our souls, because our souls are remembering our wholeness, our aliveness, our awakening. And it is indeed shifting and changing the status quo. And if we release all judgment for both good and bad, and as the oracle card that I pulled at the beginning of the meditation, the reminder that it's okay to drift and trust and allow the flow. Because as we, as a collective, as those who are awakening and choosing love, stand more firmly and fully in this sea of love together, we are indeed moving and shifting the timelines. We're moving and shifting things in ways that are more energetic. There are ways that we can't understand, and they may not look like we'd like them to look tomorrow, or next month, or next year. But if we hold this space of compassion and light as we stay grounded to the earth and connected to the heavens, allowing this pillar of light to open in us, for us to radiate this light. The Bible is filled with examples of light. Let your light shine. We are indeed shifting and changing everything around us, offering healing and hope. Prayer and meditation work because we are one consciousness. We connect to a collective and we open to an energy that is above fear and pain. Breathe into that heart space. This is where your wisdom lies. When we are in our heart and not in our head, we are connected to our spirit and our soul. When we are in our head, we are connected to our ego, to our intellect, to the parts of us that think that we have to be in control and figure it all out. The transmission that's being offered is to stand fully in this light. To trust what is coming to you, that you are beginning to gather into your mind, into your heart, into your soul. To trust the knowings that have been within you always, so that when you hear words or songs or spiritual teachings that resonate with you, you trust and know that they are being brought to you on purpose. And in that space, you begin to ask questions about what is next for you. You begin to listen more intently to the still small voice within you that is always whispering, always guiding you, always giving you more information. And in that space, you connect to your spirit guides, you connect to your higher self, you connect to a matrix that is so much more than what we have understood in the past, but we are beginning to understand now. The transmission is to trust this path. To release fear and open fully and deeply into the light, into love, into compassion and forgiveness. To offer grace where there is a desire to attack. And to see from this new perception how you can be in the world but not of the world, on a large scale and also within your own life. The guidance is that this awakening will begin to rattle parts of your life that are shifting and changing. And you will begin to see and understand in ways that have never been how you've been before. It will mean that you see everything from a new perception. But you're being offered everything that you need in every moment of every day. Whispers of guidance, whispers of strength, whispers of knowing. It will give you what you need to understand to bring you into resonance with the truth of who you are. You are being called to stand more fully in the truth of who you are. I just got this big rush of energy because they want me to share with you that this is not about the dark times. This is actually about the coming of the light. It's not about being Pollyanna and trying to get past it without the complexities and the challenge that we walk through. It's about being present with what is in a way that is new and empowered. It's about understanding that you are part of this awakening, of this change. And having joy and happiness and levity in your life is important. It's actually essential. They're saying to take care of yourself, to notice the things that you love, the things that give you spark, that light you up, and to pay attention to those things because we've been given too much attention to what feels hard or what we've been wanting to change or fix. And they're encouraging you to truly see you and your life in a new way, to hold your experience in a new way, to pay attention to those times when you need rest, to pay attention to those times when your heart hurts, to reach out to those that you can trust, not from the place where you're commiserating, but from the place where you're sharing tenderly, deeply the human experience from this awakened space. And this remembering who you are is around you remembering that you are here to share the light and the love, but you must be light and love to share it. And we are not fixing the others, we are only sharing our light and love. That is our work to do. They're showing me a vision of our planet encircled by this incredible white light. It's almost like a bubble of compassion and grace and peace and hope, of connection, of compassion, and the offering that the vibrations are those that encompass all of those beautiful truths of who we are. And that energy opens us up to even more. The ability to transmute and heal what has been hard and painful. And to recognize that within yourself, you are in your own bubble of energy. To treat it with such reverence and grace. To be mindful on a regular basis of what that energy is around you and to cleanse and clear all that is not yours. We must recharge ourselves. We must recharge our energy. We must recharge our spiritual center. And we do that by attending to ourselves and allowing ourselves to be in the stillness and the quiet and the peace. The inner sanctuary of our heart. I invite you to come back to your breath and just recognize how the breath is life. Deep belly breaths. As you come back into this space, back into this room, back into the world as it is, we bring with us the light and the love and the awareness and the openness of heart. That we understand that our channel, our pillar of light, is connecting to a matrix that is so much more. We are all fueling each other. We are all recharging each other as we take this time to connect to this inner light within ourselves and to attach it, to connect it to the source that is everything. And a couple deep breaths, and then I invite you to open your eyes. One of the things for me is that when I'm in a meditative state, it feels so beautiful and I feel so connected. And then you go out in the world and it's hard. And it's not about dismissing the pain, because that's what is the beauty of being here in these bodies, is that we get to feel everything. My hope is that in Soul Recovery, I provided you more information about how to feel it from your heart and not from your head. Because your heart is where all your wisdom is. It's where the healing is. It's where the learning is, the expansion, the ability to be in very complex situations. And so when I feel the energy of not only the Recover Your Soul community, but I feel the energy of the world, I want to take it on, because that's the kind of person I am. I love everybody so much. But the spiritual journey has actually given me a place to release that feeling that I'm supposed to do it, and the awareness that we can do it. That we can do it, either as a country, or if you're in a family that's having complications, or it's just you. You can do it. You're so much stronger than you give yourself strength for. Give yourself credit for. So I wanted to come into this place where those of you who are here with me now, that you feel this love, but more than that, that we recognize it is the expansion, it is the one of everything. We are indeed one with everything. And to not be afraid. Love is so much stronger than fear. And light always overcomes darkness. So I encourage you today, as the next couple days or weeks or months or years or whatever happens in our lives, as it will be, to envision yourselves in the eye of the storm, and then envision your connection to spirit that dissipates the storm and brings out the sun rays of your own life. And the last they're telling me to tell you, it's okay to be happy. It's actually important that you're happy. They really want me to say that in the meditation too. Sometimes we feel like our own happiness in the midst of other people who are struggling is a lot, but it's actually one of the greatest gifts that you can give, to demonstrate peace and happiness in the midst of chaos and pain, and to choose yourself always. Not choosing yourself in a selfish way, but taking responsibility for your own happiness and your own well-being. That's one of the greatest demonstrations we can ever give. So thank you for joining me, either now in person or later. Thank you for being part of the Recover Your Soul community. Thank you for awakening and choosing your own healing in your own light. You are indeed doing more than you can possibly know. Look at that, right at time. Interesting how all that happens. Well, we have a couple minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments that we want to address as we're closing up? On the chat, we'll see if anybody has anything to say. And if not, then we'll close. Sometimes it's just enough just to be present and to listen and to connect. Thank you, Cecilia, I appreciate that. Thanks, Kimberly. So glad to have you here today. It's not about it being easy. It's about us being awake and conscious in all of it. Thank you, Janice. I really appreciate everybody that was on today. I really do love you so much. I'm sending you so much love and light. And as always, when you're in times of complexity, I hope that you will listen to the podcast and recognize that it's much more of an energy transmission and opportunity for you to step into your wholeness, and that I'm always here to bring light and love and give you comfort and peace when you need it. Okay? All right, everybody. Sending you so much love. Until next time, namaste.